one of the Daily Ketchup General Elections live stream 2025. Wherever you're watching us, whether it's at home or on the train or in the toilet, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. And sorry in advance, I think if it breaks the illusion of what TDK is like because we don't have the benefit of editing.
Also, our voice a bit less sexy.
Yeah, we don't have that voice filter thing. So we're going to start rambling. I've already started actually. But yes, so for those of you who don't know, for 6 out of the 9 campaigning days, we will be live streaming from 8 o'clock and we'll have a rotation of guest hosts as well as candidates from different parties joining us for all 6 days to keep you up to date on all things election.
That's right. Let us know who you want to see in the comment section, which party you hope is coming. We've invited most of them. Most of them have responded. Okay, but then there's scheduling stuff, and then some of them rather not do live.
They're busy lah, huh?
Busy
There's a lot of rallies
More important
that
things
are
to do than
happening.
this lah, help.
Exactly. So to keep things fresh, right, like I mentioned, there will be a rotation of guest hosts and we've brought them from the very best from the podcasting and social media world. And today we have not one, but 2. Please welcome 2 people who prefer to hide behind online personas, I guess. Political prudes, Joel Lim, and one half of the woke ceremony, her Remy. Welcome!
I've made it. We are here on the Daily Ketchup. I've made it.
Hey, I want to say I'm very grateful that we managed to pull this together from when nomination day was announced.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So we have 4-5 days to book all the guest hosts. We also have 4-5 days to send out invitations and then schedule all the political candidates that's coming. We have a different one every day. And on most nights, there's 2.
Yeah.
Nice.
And thank you so much, guys, for saying yes and being able to come tonight.
Of course. Thanks for having us.
Pleasure.
It's kind of crazy that you guys put the 2 of us on episode 1. I'm scared for your other guests because now they have to meet a certain standard that we will be setting.
Now I'm scared because you say that's horse standard.
No, I'm just kidding. We are very chill. We're very chill. We're like,
can you not do this?
relax.
You're very embarrassing.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm kidding. You're not.
Okay, I want to say right now there's about 600 plus people, close to 700 people watching. Thank you very, very much.
6, 7.
Welcome. And that's on YouTube. We're also on other platforms as well. So thank you all for joining us. I should also mention, as this is a live stream, we got to do some housekeeping. Unfortunately, I've got to be the bad guy and do that.
Okay.
So, of course, we can see your comments. We will try and get to them. Unfortunately, we might not have time, but we'll try our very best. And also, if you have any questions for any particular person, so it could be to Raymond, it could be to Joel, it could be to any of our guests tonight, it will really help you just say for who. Then we will try our best to ask. I think also try to be civil and respectful.
Yes, if you have not joined our Telegram community, do so because we'll be lifting questions from the Telegram community because here is a bit too much, too fast.
That's right. And also later in the broadcast, we will have PAP seasoned veteran Ong Kang later today, as well as PAP newcomer for Nisun JRC Gohan Yan, who will be contesting the first elections. And you're wondering, hey, why PAP? Well, honestly, we have 6 days of streaming. We're going to have candidates across different political parties. It's just that when we say, hey guys, which day you all want, PAP book first lah. But then we have WP on, we'll have SDP on, we'll have NSP on, we'll have independent candidates as well as PAR. So join us for all 6 nights if you can. So before that, let me just explain what we're going to be doing tonight. There'll be really 2 segments to the show. The first is we're going to be reacting to all things that happened today. And trust me, if you guys weren't following the news, a lot happened today. It was nomination day. There were a lot of surprises. I can see Joel already nodding his head. He keeps up to date. And then after that, we'll have our candidates join us. And so we'll ask them some questions and get to know them a little bit better as well. So first things first, Joel and Rayming, before we jump into it, don't tell me who, but I'm curious, have you guys kind of decided how you guys are going to be voting and what issues are you guys thinking about when you're going to the ballot boxes?
Well, I think I haven't decided really who to vote for, but I think in general, apart from the policy that they propose, got to see whether or not it's feasible or not. But I think more importantly, I want to see how the candidates act during election period.
Okay.
Yeah, I think in the previous years, there was quite a lot of mudslinging during election. Sometimes it gets the feeling that some parties actually punch down.
Yeah.
So I don't like that. So simply based on moral reasons, I might vote for a different party based on that. Yeah.
So would you say then you would automatically vote for underdog?
Not necessarily. Yeah, it really depends how the party conduct themselves. And I think I kind of don't really like is the notion that you vote for your MP to look after your neighborhood estate.
Yeah, that's always weird.
Yeah. So I feel it's a bit strange. So I hope in this election people want to stand for represent people's interests in parliament instead of I'll look after your town council. I will build more shelter, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and Joel, how about you?
I mean, I'm undecided as well. I think for me, I always use the analogy of like your favorite restaurant, right? You might have, this restaurant that you always go to, but you are depriving yourself of another option. Maybe a new restaurant opens up somewhere else and then you go, nah, I'm not going to go there because I have my favorite.
Yeah.
Then you never know. What if the menu is like serving something that you maybe would love? So my mentality is always, let me take a look at the menu. Let me just see what's up. And then we can go and see, where I'm having dinner tonight.
Right.
Oh, I love the analogy.
Yikang, how about you?
Mr. Ong.
By the way, I changed my name for today because I have the privilege of filling this seat up and keeping it warm before our guests arrive.
Nice.
Yes.
Wow.
Thank you so much, Alison.
Thank you so much for that, Yigang.
Thank you.
So as I mentioned, I think we're going to be reacting to some of the news that happened today. Nomination surprises. I think the first, at least the one that's top of my mind, is the PAP 4D chess moves that took place today. So for those of you who don't know, DPM Gan Kim Yong was widely expected to recontest at Choa Chu Kang, and Minister for Manpower Tan See Leng was expected to contest at Marine Parade Bradel Heights. And yet, both of them didn't end up contesting on those two GRC seats. We saw Gan Kim Yong get kind of moved to Punggol to kind of take on WP there. And we saw Tan See Leng move to West Coast. Thoughts, guys? Was that something that was out of the blue for you guys? I mean, it was for me.
Yeah, I mean, for DPM Gun, I was like, and immediately I went to straight away look at who are the opponents, right? Because I mean, this is entirely new space for him.
Exactly.
And we did see that the WP did field Harpreet Singh, who has, throughout this whole election season has been kind of called the star candidate or the star pool for the party. So I perhaps, just wanting to like match that opponent. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
Well, actually, I got nothing exciting to continue. I mean, what you said was really good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hey, thank you.
continue. Yeah, so
It was
sorry,
quite
yeah.
wild. I think Raja's
Yeah.
going to add on that, like, no one expected that to happen because what happened was they kind of left Marine Parade with, like, probably no headline act. And then what happened was that it was a walkover anyway.
I think starting off is that Dr. Tan himself was also surprised, right?
Yeah.
Because he said, Prime Minister said that this morning, like literally at the morning of the nomination day, is when they decided to move Dr. Tan all the way over.
Yes, it does feel like a last minute.
He also got surprised. We also got surprised.
Mm.
But I think the real thing is like, do you think they predicted where they would, where Workers' Party would field Harpreet, and therefore they countered him by moving a very high-profile minister over to fight him off?
Yeah. I feel like to an extent, WP is looking at the younger demographic because they are a bit more center-left.
Yeah.
They say that they are centrist, but they do feel center-left. And I think after Sengkang, the very logical progress is to go after the younger voters and the young families in Punggol as well, which is where I am.
Just dox your location. Everyone knows that you're at the
How come you weren't at the nomination center today?
Yeah. Busy. bro.
Has this happened before? Like this kind of last minute, like
Always.
So in GE2020, I think the one to note was DPM Heng Swee Kiat was actually redeployed, so to speak, to East Coast to battle Nicosia at that point in time.
I mean, which is why he like a bit kalang kabut that time, right?
With
Together
the
we have an
speech,
East Coast plan. Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
yeah.
famously.
You know what we learned in one of the episodes of the podcast? And I also want to say we need to get through this question faster because I understand that Minister Ong is on the way. He's arriving soon.
oh, I better.
And so
warm this
one
up.
of the things, right, that we learned was that the East Coast plan was not actually a name. It was coined after.
So he said it first, and then they realized, okay,
Yeah.
since he said that already,
Oh.
Right.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, yeah.
Correct. So
Okay.
they meant to say that we have a plan for the East Coast. That was it.
Okay.
Oh, my
Yeah.
God, East Coast plan.
Yeah, then like, okay, then now they got a t-shirt.
Oh,
yeah, later they
iconic,
actually named it a
iconic.
together, East Coast plan.
Hey, I'll say, I mean, they went with it, and I think after 5 years, right, everyone's taken it in good humor.
Yeah.
Like even
okay.
DPM, you know, former DPM.
Yeah, but okay, speaking of which, I think the thing that surprised many was that Marine Parade Bradel Heights ended up being a walkover because WP didn't end up contesting there. Were we surprised? How do we feel about that? Do we feel a bit wasted? Because on the other hand, Tampines is a 4-way fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly surprising, and I guess we all have this perspective that like this year there will be no walkovers, right? I think that was a general sentiment. And I guess, the WP's official reason was that really they wanted to maximize their chances and give their candidates the best chances. But I guess, for some of us, we have the opinion that even if you don't win, you're able to, get visibility. There's no other period of time where you can get the highest number of visibility, build ground, momentum.
Yeah.
So I guess it's, different camps. But when I look at the comments and the WP's Instagram and Facebook, a lot of them are very sympathetic, empathetic, as well as understanding of the strategy, right? You see a lot of comments like, I get it, we understand. So they do still have the support of the people. It's just that some people are just like, I wish I could exercise my vote.
Yeah,
my right
especially
to
if you're in
vote.
Marine
Yeah.
Parade. Yeah, I can
I mean, as a
imagine.
consumer, you always want like more choice, right? So I mean, this is like
Choices.
I mean, voters are consumers in some way.
Yeah.
They're consumer of the government, right?
Yeah, so what happens? Those people just don't vote.
Yeah, it's a walkover.
I
That's
see.
it.
Their long weekend got longer.
So then, you think campaigning just still happens? Like these 2
No.
days, what do they do? They still walk around and say, hey,
No.
Like, because you want to say thank you also not right, because
Yeah.
it was not handed to you.
Yeah.
They are MPs already, essentially.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, congratulations to Tim Peiling. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of the rest of them. Yeah. And also, I think when we empathize from the, like, if you look at it from the POV of the Workers' Party, they've seen a new demographic makeup of Marine Parade Railhead. And it's tougher for them. The battleground has just gotten, in that area, gotten much tougher for them.
Yeah.
So like, when we look at it, they keep saying they're a small team. We have small resources, we have few resources, we got to capitalize. So, like, what are you going to do? You know? You got to give up, right? Yeah.
So someone's asking, does WP have a mole?
Oh, because
What, like on the face?
PAP managed to find out.
Yeah.
Right?
Where Harpreet was going.
Also,
Okay. Interesting. So it turns out, like I was reading Reddit, that like some sleuths, I guess, and they actually explained that every election, the WP team actually meet at the HQ and then they have buses to deploy. So someone may have seen Harpreet take the bus.
Oh,
to
and
Punggol.
infer.
yeah.
Yeah. So essentially, they probably inferred, and then that's when the last minute moves were happening because the buses left at like 9:30. You
Oh
needed
my
to be there by
God.
11. Yeah, I mean, you don't know how accurate this is. This is Reddit speculation, but
Right.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I have
Reddit
fun
is mean to us.
actually.
Yeah.
Wait, but nomination day is the day where all the conspiracy theory you get to go through it, right? Like,
Yeah,
and let's
absolutely.
consider there is an alternative timeline, right, where DPM Heng and Senior Minister Teo, right, didn't retire and they were deployed to fight some. Like, if the Workers' Party had deployed a different team, A2 team, like another star team, they could have not retired also today,
That'll be so
maybe,
sian.
maybe, yeah, I know, right? You're ready to retire.
Tomorrow I could be retired or I sign on another 5 years.
Exactly. And I mean, yeah, well.
Do you think they waited to see who was fielded before they, like TPM Heng announced his retirement? Or do you think it was let's not reveal until the very end when everybody already knew? I don't
But
know.
if it's like 11, do you have to be in person to submit your nomination paper?
Yes.
Do you know? So in that case, right, if it's wait till 11:55, then how are you going to get across the country?
No, they were probably waiting in the
Yes,
car.
well,
he was
Ah,
there.
But
DPM
still, you
Heng
got
was
to
there. He was there today.
Right.
At the nomination.
I mean, it has to be that they waited. It has to be because
Right.
you still need new candidates. The new candidates have to go and walk the ground first. So you, to a certain extent, I do believe they are trying to time it with nomination day so that there is no new narrative of PAP is getting abandoned by its senior leadership.
Right.
Yeah. Then after that, drowned out by the by nomination news.
You know,
Alright.
you know who else was at the nomination center today?
Who?
Joseph Schooling.
Oh,
was at-
yes. With Edwin
He
Tong.
suddenly when he suddenly came
Yeah.
in.
I believe he was a seconder for
Proposer
proposer.
for Minister Edwin Tong's team
Which,
at the PAP.
Yeah, and the connection there, I guess, is Sports Hub.
Sports,
Sports
yeah,
related. Edwin Tong, of course, responsible for bringing Taylor Swift down to Singapore.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that was interesting. I just gotten word from Jonathan Paul, as you know, from the Daily Ketchup, who's off screen at the moment. We have just crossed 1,000 concurrent viewers. Thank you so much,
Yes,
everybody.
actually, we crossed it a long time ago. I was just trying to.
You didn't say anything.
No, I was waiting for the moment, lah.
The other thing, and I think we can hear more of, is that people are asking for Raja's street views. Views from the streets.
Views from the streets.
Yeah, which is something that we started 4 episodes ago in our
And for
political
the rest of you who have no idea what this is about,
please.
I've been known on occasion to reference the things I've heard on the streets.
Okay.
So I would say,
let's hear it.
Hey, John, the streets are saying.
Yeah.
And that's why we go with that. So, that's just a little bit of background.
So if he brings it up randomly throughout the night, just go with it.
Those
like
are the
that.
streets.
Yeah.
Those are
Pretend they exist.
You just anyhow say one.
They are real streets. These are my lived experiences.
This is how we become uncancelable because the streets say not us.
The streets.
Okay.
Okay, so besides nomination day, I think in lead up to it also, right, there was quite a lot of happenings with all the announcements, and we also saw a lot of talent on display. I think we have a video compilation ready. Can we play it,
I'm
Nash?
so ready.
Wow, that was so good. That transition was so
Right. Do you see that
Barely
disappear,
heard
guys? Okay.
Strangers in the night. That is where I wanna be.
I look left, look right.
Oh,
Look
this my
left, look
favourite.
right.
Sorry, he's from where? Beatboxer is from?
WP.
Oh, damn.
WP. So I think that featured a whole array of candidates. But singing seems to be the theme. I don't remember it being huge in previous elections.
I think we have like 4 or 5 different people now. The various parties. So it's not just a party strategy.
Exactly.
It's just across the board. Everybody's singing.
I mean, last time it started with like ukulele first, right? Then it became guitar. Then more and more people came out with guitar. Then I guess now singing is like the new thing.
Yeah, la guitar is like passe already, right?
Do you all feel like it's being socially unaware or internetly unaware, or it's a strategy to get viral?
I mean, one way to look at it is that, you know, if you look at all the different views of all the content that's coming out, which is so much and so many, those videos certainly get the most engagement and views.
Yeah.
So if its strategy is kind of working, but then also, you know, it's going under the all press is good press mentality.
Yeah.
Because from what I see, most people are more laughing at them than with them. But the other side of things is also perhaps, you know, from what I see is maybe the media is asking them different questions throughout their interview. And then this is perhaps the most exciting part, and then it just gets chopped to the front of the video because engagement, man, like that's just how media works these days.
Well,
Do you all think this strategy is different if you are incumbent versus you are opposition?
What strategy?
This strategy of all press is good press. For example, I think when a PAP candidate do it, they just laugh at them for being silly. But I think if you are a new opposition figure, the comment section is not just laughing at them.
Wow.
It's about you're gonna lose your deposit.
I think we are overthinking. I think like it's all about the quality of the performance, right? I mean, if someone's a bad singer, then it's a bad singer, right? I mean, there's no, you know.
No, and I must say, Sunny Ismail's like performance of Strangers in
Oh
the
my God.
Night. Okay, the whole day, right, we've
singing all
basically been singing, and John has been so triggered.
But now that, you know, SMTO and DPM Heng have retired, maybe, you know, they can go into business, start a musical venture, Teo Heng, and then get all the budding musical acts out. Yes!
Let's go!
We're waiting a while to say that one.
Wow.
I was wondering where that was going.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But you saw the vision.
But I saw the vision.
Thank you so much.
And it landed.
It landed. Oh,
well done, well
yes,
done, well
that's
done.
what I wanted, yeah.
Somewhat.
Hey, can I get a check of where is Minister Ong What's his ETA?
Well,
Okay, you drop me a text, yeah?
Okay, so not yet.
Yes.
more.
Besides that, I think I wanted to gather some of your thoughts on like what we think are like some of the main characters of GE2025, right?
Hello.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Well, wait.
Not really tell. I think we know who's on the way.
Okay,
Warming
so
up. Warming up.
room just
Warming up.
everybody just started
I'm trying my best now.
Suddenly like very scared to say stuff. No, but I wanted to get some of your thoughts because I think Reddit was extremely saddened about losing Louis Ng.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we saw on TikTok, on Instagram, Minister Shanmugam wiping a tear of his eye.
And the way he wiped was also very interesting. Like you would tap here,
Yeah.
you went like
No.
Top
like
eyelid
eye
down.
test.
but that's how real men wipe tears.
You cry from your top eyelid.
Fucking stab it on.
So some people were saying like, why is Minister Shanmugam doing that? But I honestly think, right, Minister Shanmugam was trying to be funny. Like he knew what he was doing.
Really, man?
What?
Nah.
Because the way how he wiping was like so funny, like meme like. He knew okay, this will.
How often do you wipe someone's tears?
Never.
Obviously, no practice, right? So you just
What K-drama was he watching? Recreated
I
that.
think it's like a risk. Because if I was Louis, I mean, be like, what you
Yeah.
doing? You know?
but
I grab your hand.
But credit to Louis, by the way, played it off like as if it happens every day.
He was undeterred. He kept on with
Yeah.
his messaging like as though nothing happened.
No, but that was a solid video. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it was important because a lot of people were speculating why was he stamping down. I think he explained it, and as a parent, I can completely relate to the reasoning. Before we move into any other segments, John, do we have any other questions?
We have so many, but I think let's complete this first.
Okay,
Yeah,
sounds
yeah.
good. So besides,
We have about 1,500 people watching right now.
oh,
guys. Besides main characters, right? Speaking of main characters, the other that you mentioned, Harpreet Singh. So I think the GE media darling for this GE headed to Punggol. Do we think that it's all hype, or is there really traction behind all of that?
I mean,
Oh, it's so hard to say whether someone is all hype or not at this stage. But I mean, I will say
Speculate.
like he carries himself like very eloquently. I think like increasingly the WP is fielding like higher quality candidates.
Yeah.
And I think like it falls to this trend. He could be like the next media darling, like how James was during the 2020.
Yeah, and I think Dr. James's breakthrough was during the televised debate.
Yeah.
So I guess it's whether or not, Harpreet will be able to get the kind of opportunities to speak to Singapore on that kind of national level as well.
Do you think it'll be him?
I don't know.
Hello.
Speculate, sir.
How to speculate?
know.
So irresponsible.
No, but senior counsel on a debate will be a cinema. It'll be good to watch.
It'll be beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think some people online say like, oh, he's like just a lawyer, and then so he doesn't know public policy. But I mean, if you think about it, like many of our ministers are lawyers also. Like Lee Kuan Yew was a lawyer, Shanmugam was a lawyer.
Yeah.
I think that's a great point. Besides that, we saw Dr. Chee Soon Juan contest in Sembawang West SMC. There was quite a last-minute move. Do we think it could be his year finally, or do we think it'll be tough?
I mean, his episodes on your show has gotten so much support and like views.
Yes, and
You know,
SDP will be joining us as well.
That's right.
a lot of people felt like, you know, their position on him like changed after watching your episode with him, the one with Jade as well. Also,
Right.
yeah, and you know, he has been really consistently building his TikTok game as well. Like a lot of my like Gen Z interns tell me, hey, I see him a lot on TikTok.
Oh,
you know,
really?
yeah,
They
so-
had no idea who he was.
yeah, no, they really don't.
Wow.
But I guess it's good for him because, you know, he did have quite a bit of reputation with the older generation, right? But I think when it comes to the younger ones, you're seeing a totally different side of him, which I think maybe he could leverage off as well. With regards to going to
Sembawang West.
Sembawang West SMC, I mean, it's part of their larger strategy to go to the north.
Yeah.
And, you know, when we see where the opposition parties are kind of like looking at, we see, you know, WP looking at perhaps like the east side, including Sengkang and Punggol. And then we see now West Coast looking at the west side. Not West Coast, PSP looking at the west side. And then I guess the leftover will be the north, you know, which, by the way, the SDP has been doing a lot of groundwork there for quite a while. So makes sense, you know. Bukit Batok doesn't exist anymore, which is where he's always been. So now, you know, I guess consolidating his efforts to the north with the party as well. Yeah.
Exactly that. And speaking of main characters, we promised that we will be bringing on candidates onto the show. And we've already made him wait for far too long in our waiting area. He's a busy man, so let's get him on. Please welcome Minister for Health and candidate for PAP at Sembawang GRC, Mr. Ong Kang. Welcome.
I left your seat warm enough for you.
Thank you, Edison, for your service.
Hopefully the seat is warm. Welcome. Yeah.
Why you stand up?
Hello.
Okay. Haven't seen you for a long
Yes,
time.
yes.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome, Minister. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
I was here, wasn't this studio, right? Or some other studio.
Oh yes, that's right. That's right.
Thank you for joining us on such a busy day. We never had the opportunity to interview a candidate during nomination day before, so I'm very curious, how was your day like?
Today was quite busy, long.
Thank you.
Let's imagine.
Can you run us through what happened? Like, you know, what is it like?
Yeah.
What time do you wake up?
Because it feels like it could be a
Okay.
2-hour thing.
No. We went quite early to our branch, 8:30. I went with my wife. Yeah. She wear white and white once every 5 years.
Wow.
Today lah.
Appropriate.
Today lah. And then we went there, and then I was telling my new candidates, I said, later at the nomination center, you have 3 minutes. All 5 of us have 3 minutes to make the speech. Always overrun, guarantee. So I said we practice. Okay, so we practice lah.
Wait, this was the first time you practiced? The day itself?
Yeah, of
Wow.
course.
But you never script this like 2 weeks ago, man. Yeah.
No need lah. It's just 3 minutes.
I mean, it's a simple job. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. For this interview, I scripted it one month ago. Believe me.
You know what was the main difference between this year and like the last election? Because it's, you know,
No,
COVID.
last election, there was nomination center as well, although it was a COVID election.
Yeah.
So anyway, we went there to the nomination center, meet up with my contest opponents. But I really salute my supporters. They were standing, rain, shine, lightning at one point. Then they have to go under the shelter for a whole of 2 hours.
Right.
Just to listen to us for 3 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
The previous one didn't have, right? Or what?
There is.
Oh, there were?
Every time there is.
Oh.
That's why I have the experience to know that we always overrun the 3 minutes.
Right.
Right.
3 minutes just go past very
Yeah,
quickly.
and the bell rings.
No, they switch off the mic.
Oh.
So after a while, when you talk, it's just no more sound. Yeah.
How Oscars of them.
Yeah. So we're orchestra. You're in a 3-cornered fight. People tend to say that in multi-cornered fights, it favors the PAP. Do you see that way?
Why does it favor?
Because usually the
Opposition
opposition
split.
vote gets split.
Oh no, I think there's always a group that is vote anything but PAP.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that is the group that gets split. But in the end, the PAP, the kind of votes that I may lost, I think is still the same. I think it's still the same. In fact, with three corner fights, if they have different ideas, it may appeal to different people. So it's hard to say. I would say it's a more keen contest.
Okay.
I would say it's more keen contest. Yeah.
I don't know how much of the lid you can lift, but I think a lot of us were surprised earlier today when we saw the last minute shifts. Essentially, DPM Gan Kim Yong being moved to Punggol and seeing Minister Tan See Leng move to the west. How late does a decision like that get made?
I don't know. No, I was blissfully in Sembawang, filling up my forms and making sure everything's okay, submit, and everything went smoothly. And monitoring the moves. I think the opposition was also making moves. Yeah. So in the end, that's how it turns out. What I did not quite understand is the WP wanted to fill 31 seats, but they came out with 26 candidates. So actually, if you counted as of last night, there were 26 candidates, and so I was also scratching my head. Where's the 5 coming from? Are they going to produce 5 superstars last minute? Turns out they couldn't contest in one of the GRC. And Marine Parade had a walkover. I thought that was the most surprising thing.
At any point, were you expecting maybe a last minute call, like you need to be sent somewhere else, or you knew it's going to be some wrong GRC?
Being in PAP, we always dread that kind of calls, and you hope your phone don't ring.
Okay.
But even if those calls are made, isn't it a guessing game?
Guessing game?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think there are some scenarios being painted and some moves being needed. But I think the key thing is this. PAP is a big brand. We are in every constituency. So whoever is the candidates, or if they get elected, become the MPs, we make sure we support everybody. And make sure every constituency that we are MP of are well taken care of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
and we'll serve them well.
some feel, or reading the internet or the street say that a PAP dominated parliament limits debate, it limits diversity of views. How do you quell concerns like that?
I think we don't disagree with that. If any parliament is just one party, surely there's a lack of diversity. Nobody will argue against that, right? So therefore, I think we have to embrace the fact that people want some different views. Even within, you were just talking about Louis Ng. Actually, even within a party, you want to start to hear different views within the party. Much less outside of the party.
Does that actually happen? Because I think from what we see, basically being picked off the news of Parliament, right? It feels like no one challenges a minister. No PAP member challenges a minister. Is there something going on behind the scenes that we actually don't see?
I would say there are many MPs who will have views that is different from a minister or a ministry, right? And they will raise it, except we have such good internal consultation mechanism. Sometimes they get discussed. And by the time you reach a compromise or reach some consensus, when it comes out, it was as if there was no disagreements. So I suppose sometimes we should let some of these disagreements be out in the public. So take for example, I have this new candidate called Xi Xian. First thing he saw me, he said, "Why for mental health you must be 18 years old in order to seek treatment?" I said, "Really?" Actually, I knew about it, so I said, "Okay, let me go and check." So indeed, MOH is looking at it. He disagreed. But then I spoke to him and say, okay, we're going to look at it. But during the introduction, because he wants to be an MP that champions mental health, I say, I'm actually okay that during the introduction, during the press conference, you say you disagree with me on this MOH matter. I think you got full license, but in the end, he didn't raise. So he was thinking, I think I discussed with you privately, maybe that works better. Probably that went on in his mind, but in my mind, it's not a bad thing. And indeed, with him raising this, we may look at the policy, form an expert group of some sort, and look at the procedures.
I mean, I totally understand that there's value in party unity and presenting that to the public also, because that's having confidence in the party that people voted for. But at the same time, when you guys are able to also express the different opinions and views with regard to certain policies, it can actually give rise to members of the public to also listen in and then add on to whatever opinions they have, that perhaps there might be certain blind spots that people that might not be identified.
I do agree, and I think we we are reaching a stage of maturity where we can handle differences.
Yeah.
That we have different views and we may disagree, but in the end, government has to decide on one path ahead.
Yeah.
And it will not please everyone.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
government can explain this is why we do it, this is the direction, and I know some people may not be happy, but I think we got to we got to go one way or the other. I think people can accept that.
So speaking of different views, I mean, do you guys study like what the opposition parties propose? And in that same line, are there any like of those proposals you think actually that is pretty decent?
It depends. The big things or small things. Some of the big pieces of proposals, the bigger proposals, when you add them all up, I'm not sure is fiscally sound. No? Yeah, because it does involve a lot of additional spending while cutting GST. And really, where is the money coming from is the very basic question. I don't think we need to even drill very deep into it. Having said that, in Parliament, I do think in Parliament now, or previous Parliament, where there were 12 opposition MPs, there were very decent and sensible proposals raised. Yeah, from our own MPs as well. Sometimes there were different views, and I think discussion was actually not too bad. I thought it's between the last Parliament and this Parliament, we are spending a lot more time in Parliament. There are many more parliamentary questions to answer as well. Many of my staff, before Parliament sitting, they'll spend like 1-2 weeks just working on PQs. No?
Wow.
Yeah.
Parliamentary questions. It's taking up a lot more time. But on the other hand, I do find it is a higher quality discussion now in Parliament.
Okay.
I think that is useful.
Yeah.
So I would say, based on the last structure of Parliament, I think it works. Politics is stable. There is discourse. There is, on one hand, the PAP, I feel, can still be decisive. We can still adapt. We can still move quite fast for a small country. And on the other hand, we can't push things around and bulldoze things because there is a check and balance. So much so that these days when we put out a legislation, we have to think about what will the opposition say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even then, right, the votes are just never gonna. There's just not enough. When you say check and balance, it's still not that they can veto any sort of legislation or a constitutional amendment. They don't have enough to fight that.
It's just like say the cola market. There's a Pepsi and there's Coca-Cola. Yeah, you don't need to reach 50-50 for one to overturn the other, and therefore you have a good situation, right? Sometimes you just need that competition, that presence of that competition, that contestation, for you to really check your own behavior. To say you cannot be over domineering. You need to consider what other people think, right? And that is itself, I think, a discipline.
By virtue, sorry.
So in your opinion,
So you don't have to be able to overturn the decision. The process of making decisions now have changed. Yeah.
Right.
So in your opinion, what is the maximum number of opposition that you feel is okay, like optimal
I've
for
been
you?
other podcasts and I've been asked this question. I don't think there's a magic number. You do think there's a magic number?
I don't know. You're the politician.
Throw back at me. But you're the commentator, you know.
No, but I guess what we're alluding to is that, and a lot of opposition has been campaigning on trying to prevent PAP from having the two-third majority, right? I guess from a PAP's point of view, what is the concern if PAP no longer has?
Yeah, I think that is just one basis to say two-third. Two-third is what you need to change constitution. But I think what we want is not an outcome where you cannot change constitution. What we want as an outcome is an effective government.
Right.
Yeah, that can serve Singaporeans well. That is the outcome we want of an election, not to block constitutional change, right? How is 1/3? I just maybe think of a hypothetical situation. Let's say really opposition get 1/3, because WP did say they want to win 31 seats, but now they feel 26. I assume they will change their KPI to win 26 seats. And if, let's say, PSP or other parties win another 5, we may well cross 30 seats, which is 1/3.
Right.
Yeah. So let's say you are opposition now. You have 12 seats. And after this GE, you have 32 seats. 20 more seats. Right? And to be government, you need to cross, say, 48 seats, less than 20 seats away. You need another 17, 18 seats. And so from 12, you add 20 to 32, and then you need another 17, 18 seats to cross majority. How would you think as an opposition, right? if you're sitting there with 1/3 of the seats, you are one step away from toppling the government, right? How will you think?
I don't adhere to the slippery slope argument personally.
No,
but
it's not a slippery slope.
I-
It's just one step, two step, right?
We've done some math to get there, but
I don't know. I feel today's system sort of work and politics is stable.
Yeah.
Government can function well, quite effective. At the same time, you have a loyal opposition. When you reach 1/3, you are really just one step away. 10 plus seats, I can take over. Will you still think that I will be a loyal opposition? And whether you might actually think, okay, I'm in a position where if I obstruct this government, it will not be effective. If it's not effective, next election, I can tell the people this is not effective government. Choose me, yeah, and I may well take over, right? So I think I always say we must have opposition in parliament. Otherwise, there's no diversity, and I think I would say, can be too domineering as a PAP. So therefore, you must have the checks and balance, but there is an equilibrium. What is that equilibrium? There's really no magic number. If you ask me 1/3, I fear for that scenario I just described. Because an opposition that's too big will be tempted to jam the government. The opposition that's not too big will be forced to be a loyal opposition. Right?
Yeah. So I'm thinking, looking at the state of parliament today, it seems as though opposition it's not easy for them to wholesale agree with anything incumbent is proposing. And likewise for incumbent, whatever opposition propose, PAP also does not say, hey, good idea, bro. Like, hey, let's figure this out together. Always at least change a bit or tweak something. I mean,
but as a commentator, you can tell. Can you tell?
Can tell what?
As in, this actually sounds like a good idea. Why are you disagreeing for the sake of disagreeing?
Can
right?
tell.
Nodding your head.
Yep.
Yeah, you can tell, right? You can tell, right? I think people are objective enough. Yeah. So sometimes we need those intellectual honesty. If it's a good idea, acknowledge it.
Yeah.
which is why sometimes I see some, like, I disagree a little bit on the whole, if the opposition gets a little bit closer, they keep inching closer to a half, they can jam government, all that. I feel the population, the electorate is discerning enough to know when people are arguing for the sake of arguing, when they are not opposing for a good reason, to try and improve the legislation.
Yes.
So I have that faith in our my fellow voter. So I struggle to see why it's not a good thing to at least have 1/3 of seats taken.
But what I try to analyze is not to comment on the voters in any way. No, I'm just saying this is likely what will happen in Parliament, and voters will be able to see it, right? Because in every democracy, I know it happens, right? Why should ours be different? Politics is just like that. When you are one step away from seizing power, why don't you try, right? Yeah, and of course, voters will see it. But can you do anything about it? I don't know. I think it is a part of our political history. We have done, after 2011, there was a turning point. We lost the GRC. There's now opposition in Parliament. I think it will be a fact of life from now on. What is the optimal equilibrium that serves Singapore well to have an effective government for the long term? I think it's something that we have to find out over time.
Speaking of sentiments and voters, I think a common rhetoric as well that comes up every election is that PAP is out of touch with the man on the ground, with the typical Singaporean. What do you think are the main issues that you're hearing that will be the crux of this election?
I would say cost of living is always in the background, and second will be jobs and economy. I think these two will feature greatly. A third is what we just discussed. People are in the back of their mind thinking about what is the best effective structure of Parliament that will serve us well.
This is what you think Singapore's worried about, but what are you worried about?
I'm a bit biased. I was a trade negotiator for 5 years. I negotiated the Singapore-US trade agreement.
Shit, wow.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No, sorry.
Yeah.
I should have known.
George full time.
No, it was very interesting. It was actually straddled between Clinton and Bush. Yeah, so we started the negotiations. We camped for 3 weeks over Christmas in year 2000 in Washington, D.C., trying to conclude it before Clinton steps down. But of course, we couldn't conclude. Then it spilled over to Bush. So we actually had to do a transition. so that both Democrats and Republicans supported the FTA. Yeah, so a very intense period.
Yeah.
So being a trade negotiator, and I look at what's happening now, of course, I get really, really worried now. Really worried in the sense that are the rules global rules really shifting under your feet? It's like we are all playing football, no? Tiki taka, and suddenly our best player decide I drive a monster truck. And then while we're all playing, it's like how is it going to work? You know? Yeah, so I worry about that. A lot, I think, depends on how the rest of the world react. If the rest of the world emulate what the US have done, I think it's a very major unraveling of the system.
Yeah.
Yeah, if the rest of the world can somehow keep that system going, ex-US, and wait for US to pendulum to swing back to the center and come back into the system, then I think we may be okay. But it's a long period of uncertainty, which goes back to jobs and economy, because I am not widespread, but I am hearing from several sectors, people saying things are slow. Yeah, there's no investment. People are holding back. Even real estate agents tell me it's hard to see transactions now.
So what do you think are the odds like the world adapts to US retreating from global trade?
I don't think there's odds, because the question sounded like there is preordained chance of this thing happening.
No, what are the chances, right? Like the world gets together, and finds a way to work without the US.
It depends on the statesmanship of different countries, what kind of leaders we have, how leaders can build bridges and start working together.
But are you hopeful?
Am I hopeful?
Yeah.
After the elections, start working, and then you will have a sense.
Okay.
Yeah. You need one of those international forums or regional forums where different leaders, different trade ministers get together, and then you have a sense of the sentiments. And because a lot of deals are always made at the sidelines of this international forum, people attend the meetings and read their scripts. Yeah, but that's pro forma. Right. The real action is always at the sidelines. And when you see action around the sidelines, so actually I started being a trade negotiator in year 2000 when the World Trade Organization was not doing well. It has a Uruguay round of negotiation, multilateral, and it wasn't progressing well. So at that time, the US was trying to sideline EU and trying to work with Asia. And so in forums like APEC, you can see the kind of deal making that's at the sidelines. And we were very active on the scene, forging all kinds of free trade agreements. And every time we make a free trade agreement with you for more. And I make with you for more. And then you start to bring in people and you create a dynamics that is competitive. People are competing to have free trade. So I think we need to reignite that currently.
You think we'll see more of that at the ASEAN summit with Malaysia chairing it?
I hope so.
Yeah, because they're going to have to try and get everyone on the same page.
I hope so. Because it can really be a very profound long-term event for us.
Minister, you did say that when it comes to navigating the world that we are in today, it requires strong leadership, right? And also, I guess with this election also, we are seeing so many senior, leadership people stepping down. Is the current team equipped to take on the challenges to come?
Yeah. This time round, we have two senior colleagues stepping down, SMTO and DPM Heng. Both were close colleagues. Particularly, I would say, because DPM Heng came in, he was regarded as 4G. We work more as colleagues, although he's a senior. But with SMTO, he has really been a mentor to many of us, and he has a very firm hand in guiding you to do the right things, to be really a good minister, So we will definitely miss his presence, but we know that he's 70 years old. At some point, everyone deserves to step down and hand over to somebody else. Yeah. When I'm 70, I'm sure, maybe before 70, I'm also hoping to do it.
The comment section, a lot of people are asking about your brother running for elections.
Yeah.
In Australia.
Yeah,
I saw the headlines,
Same day, 3rd of May. What are the chances?
Wow. Yeah.
So you got consult on tactics?
I actually did say what are the chances, and one guy replied to me 1/365. which is wrong. Which is wrong.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
because you have to calculate the election year must fall on the same day, same year.
A lot bigger than that.
He is running as an opposition in Perth. Yeah, so he belongs to the Liberal Party. In Australia, Liberal is conservative. Labour is Liberal. Yeah.
So in countries like Australia, where there is a little bit more of a mature democracy, perhaps, especially in Parliament, right? How do we differ?
Oh, theirs is a complicated system. He's running for federal, so they have a party list system as well. So it's complicated game theory. You elect the person, but you also rank them, and then based on the ranking, some people in the party list get into Canberra. But I should raise this. He told me if he is elected, he hopes to be, he will spend half a year, because his home is in Perth. He will spend half the year in Canberra.
Oh.
Yeah, so the other great coincidence is we are both in Canberra.
Oh yeah. You were my MP. Sure. Canberra.
Really? Huh?
moved last year, but yeah.
Okay, so I'm running in Canberra is my constituency, and my brother's hoping to go to Canberra.
What are the odds of
on
that?
the 3rd of May. What's the odds of that? Right? But he told me it's half a year. He has to spend there, which actually, when there's so much democracy, actually most of the ministers end up working in Parliament. Yeah, I remember very vividly. I visited Australia once and met some civil servants, and I asked, "How much time does your minister spend in your ministry?" They said, "No, he's always in Parliament."
Right.
He has an office in our ministry, but actually all the time he's in Parliament. Yeah. So actually, that's what happens when there's so much democracy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So beyond the seats that the Workers' Party are fielding, right? Almost every constituent is being challenged. It's possible that some of them will win via virtue of people just want change, people want something new, and they form a coalition in majority. Is that possible in Singapore?
Of course, it's possible.
Yep.
Yeah, as it is, I think the WP is putting forward candidates that people think are credible. It says that it wants to win all the seats that it is contesting. I saw a message by leader of opposition, Pritam Singh, who said that they want to win 3 or more GRCs, right? So he is gunning for almost 20 plus 30 seats. Yeah.
There is someone in the comment section asking, are we concerned that Singapore's democracy will become chaotic, somewhat like the US, the UK, and Taiwan?
I am. That's why I am. Because you raise, let's put aside Taiwan. Huh? But let's say US or UK, which are huge polity. When they are chaotic, they survive. When we are small, I think most Singaporeans know we cannot afford to be chaotic. We need an effective governance system. I don't mean an effective government alone, but an effective governance system where you have a strong government but with checks and balance. I feel that is probably what we need the most. Chaos doesn't work for us. We are already small, right? And that's a disadvantage. If we are small and chaotic, finish. But at least be small and decisive, but with checks and balance. Yeah. Other countries can be big and chaotic, but they survive. We can't have worst of both worlds.
As voters head to the ballot box on May 3rd, what do you hope is on their minds?
I hope they will vote for whatever works best for Singapore, whatever works best for their future. Yeah.
You want to campaign message now? Or?
Sorry?
You want to share a campaign message?
No, today only first day. Today is nomination day, we call N.
Yeah.
Do you know your rally schedule, like where you'll be appearing?
Yes, I am appearing on at least 2 rallies.
Okay.
Yeah. Tomorrow, we have Marsiling UT, which is the Prime Minister's ward.
Yeah.
He will be giving his first rally, which is called National Political Rally, his first. I will join him, since we both belong to the North.
Yeah.
And then later this Sunday, but it all depends. Actually, I should say it all depends on whether we secure the site. The sites are not entirely secure until later. If we secure the site, tomorrow will be our first. In Marsiling UT, I'll join him. And then Sunday, I'm hoping to secure the site for Sembawang.
Wait, at this point, all these things are not booked on, man.
It's a valid thing.
No, After nomination, then it opens up for booking. Then after you book, you see whether there's double book, and then if there's double book, then you draw lots, and you don't jump pass or whatever.
This booking system needs to be super robust.
Like really,
I think we
long
can
jump
use
pass.
scalpers,
Google
right?
Calendar. Is it digital or is it real long jump pass?
I think it's a ballot system, if I'm not wrong.
right.
Yeah. In the past, it used to be a queuing system. You have to go very early, and then you queue, you get the site that you want and the day that you want. But now it's just booking, and then when the booking close, you draw lots. Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
It's like buying my house.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Before you take a leave, anything else that you want to mention to the electorate?
To the electorate, that's a really serious question.
Huh?
Yeah. Also, we currently have 2,000 over people, almost 2,500 people.
Hey.
Oh, more than just now, huh?
Yeah. The moment you came in,
How many,
double lah.
how many live in Sembawang?
How many of you all live in Sembawang?
Ong, say hi.
Wait, since we're talking about the North, right? I mean, the SDP has very publicly stated that they're looking at the North as their strategy.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about that? Because it's, I think, their first time actually saying that we're going to target that area.
Well, I'm giving a rally speech tomorrow. I'll save it for tomorrow.
Hey.
I will say, no, every political party have strategy. But when you have a strategy, say so. Don't say, I'm here to do everything for you. I do it for you. No.
Yeah.
I think voters also know. Yeah.
What is one issue that is not known, but you think is very important for Singaporeans to know about? Not like trade war or this, like something that is lesser known.
Lesser known.
Yeah.
Okay. I wouldn't say lesser known, but again, I'm biased. I'm very worried about the trade situation because I was a trade negotiator. And I think one issue that is lesser known is how fast we are aging and how profound that impact is. Even you look at, say, China is aging. China always say with our 5,000 years history, things don't change so fast, But China has never aged like that before. Neither have we. Yeah. So aging, what will it bring? Hard to say, It's a very profound question. Yeah.
I mean, we know you have a very busy schedule even after this, but we have a few people dying to know a few things. Okay, I just get through them quickly. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know your MBTI?
What?
Okay, I know this is super cringe, but people are literally
Yes.
saying, please ask him before.
Yeah, very hard to remember. Though. It's like ESPN or something, right?
Yes. So you are
Correct, sir.
a sportsman.
Correct. You enjoy sports. That's it,
I
right?
always remember ESPN.
Very nice. What team do you support?
Okay. I very sad. Don't ask
What, you
me.
mean you-
Yeah, Man U lah.
Same, man. That time for us.
Very sad lah. Very sad. But got chance Europa League.
Europa.
Actually, why do people support Man U? Is it like father passed down one? No, honestly. What makes you decide on a football team? Is it your father tell you?
Passion.
My father watched NBA.
Oh, so you
Okay,
decided on your
for
own.
me it was Man U 10 men against Everton 11 men. FA Cup. I was primary 3.
Yeah, this was
Then Norman Whiteside score 1-0. They won. I became a fan.
that would do it.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
Is that kind of game? Is that kind of
Basically,
game?
it's the period of time you were born, right? So you support when they win, then you become loyal. Then sometimes they don't win.
Right.
Inspiration. You
It's like-
watch even as a kid. You watch and you are inspired.
It's like a lot of older folks
Right.
support Liverpool. Right?
Okay, we need to get through another
See,
one.
with that, I sidestepped the ESPN question.
It was
Well done,
fantastic.
well
Okay, I can only remember. I flipped between I and E.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah. Huh?
You appear as an E, but I feel like you got an I within you.
Yeah.
Vibes.
I always.
Oh my
feel
God, shut up.
You ridiculed the question.
Okay, Minong, what do you have for breakfast today? This one came out a few times.
Someone really wants to know.
Yeah.
I have a epok bought from Sembawang Block 105 downstairs.
Oh, that one's.
Wow, got your CDC voucher.
It's good,
And
huh?
people here are asking.
Yes.
By the way, quite a few Singaporeans.
I had the one with sardine. Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, that place
Okay.
is going to get well visited
Yeah.
after this.
But the nene who did this, she
That's a weird way to say it, no? But I guess it's correct.
No, she make the epok. She made the epok. She has a picture of Zaki outside her store. No? So I always ask her, why you put a picture of Zaki? She said, I came from Marsiling, but now you're on my side, you should put a picture of me.
Did you take a photo with her then?
I did. Now I got
Okay,
my
okay.
picture with Zaki.
And the last capo question, actually, who decides who goes where when the PAP feels?
Okay. The one with your party line, the Prime Minister decide all this.
Okay.
So one day when the Prime Minister sits here, you must ask him, why you decide move here, move there? It will be damn difficult to answer. Because all of us use that answer.
All right. Thank you so much,
Okay.
Dolynn Ong, for
Okay,
joining
thank
us.
you. Thanks very much.
We don't want to take up too much of your time. You're a busy man. You have speeches to write as well. Thank you so much for joining us.
If you are
All the
free
best.
in the next few days, please pop back in.
Yeah lah.
I mean, unlikely you free lah, but if you want to make time lah.
Unlikely.
You got slots, I'll consider.
Hey, please.
You also need to ballot.
The beauty of this over Channel 5 is that we can run into trade.
I chop Saturday lah. I chop Saturday.
OT.
I ballot lah.
No slot.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so
Alright,
much.
Thank you,
Thank you
Min.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
I ate one of your donuts. Sorry.
Okay. Hey, that one my wife.
that's
one.
donut?
Thank you, my wife.
You had donuts
Thank you,
outside.
sir.
Thanks.
Thank you, Min.
Alrighty, so just before we have the next guest on, I'm hearing that we do need to make some adjustments, and of course this is a live stream, so these adjustments need to be made. But I thought that was a very insightful conversation.
Yeah.
Not every day we have. Actually, is this the first time we had Minister Ong on? TDK.
No, actually, we actually had him before.
Yeah,
to
my memory
comment on-
is so short lah.
So because the last time he was here is honestly very, very touchy because we were at a time where we wanted some clarity on where Singapore's position is in the Israel-Palestine issue.
I remember now.
And it was difficult. It was difficult. Either way you sway, you're going to piss a lot of people off. And so we invited some POH to see who's able to make it. And he just said, okay, I'll do it. I know, but knowing how dangerous this is going to be to try and
Minefield
attempt
as
to
well.
navigate
Navigating
it.
this.
You cannot get it right, to be honest.
No, but I like that he's quite real. Like he answered a lot of our questions, which are not easy questions to answer. So I feel,
Yeah.
you know,
And that was very honest. Yeah.
it was honest answers.
So next up, as we mentioned, we have another candidate here with us. She is a fresh face, a new candidate from PAP contesting in Nee Soon GRC. She has spent 16 years in civil service and now has decided to step up for public office. Please welcome Miss Gohan Yan. Welcome to the Daily Ketchup. Hello.
Welcome. How's your first
Hello,
day
I
as an
need to-
official candidate?
I need to adjust. the
oh, sorry,
jacket.
sorry.
I'm a bit short.
No lah. Okay. Raja
Sorry,
will
sorry.
assist you.
Yes. Okay.
There we go.
No, we went low.
Bro, she obviously wants to go higher.
One job.
Apa ni? This live stream has so much moving parts. Nobody
all
expected
sit
this
on
one
the
to be the
floor.
cock up.
That's as high as it goes. That's as high as this one goes.
Oh, I see. So we need a bit.
You reset, you went back. Everybody just bend.
Yeah, we can.
We could.
So the thing is, right? They all watched the press conference for the GRC.
Press conference,
Never watched, right?
which is not the balcony one, right?
No, the one on Monday. So it was a press conference for the Nee Soon GRC introduction. And then all of us thought that we were same height.
Okay.
Because we have pillow under our...
So that's
So I
the
met one auntie and she's like, 我以为你蛮高的. Then I was like, oh, sorry.
So we need to prepare pillows next time. That's a
It's
good
okay,
start.
so it is very comfortable.
We have Alison holding a bigger pillow.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Service once again, Alison.
Guys, again, welcome to the live stream where you see everything that happens behind the scenes.
Lovely. Wow.
Guys.
Wow. I feel a lot higher now. Very good. Very good.
How's your first day as an official candidate?
Wow, it has been quite surreal. It's a complete out-of-body experience, really.
Was it what you expected though?
You can, past elections, there are videos online, you can watch it, and we all follow it because we have voted in the past, right?
Yeah.
And it always seems different on TV.
Oh.
Right? It's different because when you're there, you feel the excitement, you feel the energy, and you have great amount of supporters coming forward.
Yeah.
And you suddenly feel like, wow, you're in this stadium. Okay, I was at school. But I felt like, wow, you're in the stadium, and the gravity of the situation really sets in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
But
And
it's
in a
fear,
sense,
right? Is it not fear?
It was like adrenaline.
Right.
Okay.
A lot of adrenaline, and I think I still have it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like coursing through
I
my
feel like
veins.
when I was watching it, right, and then
Yeah.
let's say opposition come out first, or you guys come out first, then the cheer, right, is very loud. I always wonder if like the next person that comes out, then you're like, oh my god, can you cheer for me? You're texting your mom, you're texting your mom downstairs, like, can you scream? Don't have, so just me, huh?
Just
Don't project your insecurities everywhere, John.
No, but I'm always curious because like on TV, right, all
Yeah.
we see is that balcony, that corridor, right?
Yes.
What are you actually looking at?
Oh, wow.
You never see the other
Is
side.
it like
of it?
an empty field?
It's like
got so much to read,
nothingness. No. So what we see is that the field or the courtyard, whatever it is, has two sides.
Okay.
So one side would be one party, and the other side would be another party. And of course, if there are more, then there will be more parties.
Yeah.
So they'll be all gathered together. And what you see is, I mean, because at that point in time, you're just gazing into the abyss, right? So
Abyss.
it's like, ooh. And then you just see a sea of a color. I mean, at least to me.
Yeah.
Some of my fellow candidates saw faces, and I saw a color.
Yeah,
So I think
yeah.
everyone sees a different thing. Really, it depends on what your feeling was in that situation. Yeah.
Tampines today might have been like a rainbow, right? Looking at four colors represented today.
Actually, weird question. Are the kids? Where are the kids? Are they? Is it holiday for them?
Yeah.
Is the school closed?
School, yeah.
Oh, the kids in the school, home-based learning. No, actually
Since
they
the
were
morning.
watching as well. They were watching.
answers so
No,
much.
home-based learning. That's what I learned. Because I was also asking the same question.
Yeah.
When I got in, I was like, where are the kids? Did they have a holiday or are they in school?
Yeah.
Just that they're in classrooms. But yeah, home-based learning.
Right.
So we learned from Minister Ong that
Yes.
his GRC only prepared the speeches the day off, the morning off. In fact, how about you guys?
Yeah, kind of.
No, we're ahead of time.
Yeah, you do. The reality is that when even before campaigning starts, right, there's like many things you have to do beforehand. So you pre-shoot certain introduction videos, interviews, socials, things like that. So it comes in very quick succession. So I just to say that I'm the to-do list type of person. So I always have like to-do, then check until very nice. Check. So I tried to prepare as much as I can because you know there's going to be a rally, you know there's going to be a media introduction. But when things start getting slotted into your schedule, it's just really hard to keep up. And after a while, you know what you're going to say, right? At the nomination day, it's not that long. We just have to keep to the 3 minutes for our GRC. So it's a 3-minute time slot.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone has to fit in. And so long as you can capture what your intention was at that moment,
Yeah.
it shouldn't take too long for you
Yeah.
to pen down something.
Right.
I feel it's kind of weird though, because like we
Yeah.
met PM and he's a soft-spoken, confident man.
Yeah.
But when on that balcony, he has to be, hey, Gabor! Please vote for me, you know? It's like, wow,
Wow.
You have to like channel to be someone else.
What shows have you been watching?
Like 300.
Wild.
Okay, real question. So you've been in public service for so long, right?
Yes.
Do you think that experience gives you an advantage running for public office? Or honestly, is there a disadvantage? Because right now, the streets
Yeah.
are saying,
The
why so
streets.
many civil servants are joining PAP?
Yeah, so I think it's kind of both. And then I don't see it as advantage or disadvantage. It is just who we are, right? So there are many different candidates coming from different groups. So you have public servants, private sector, social sector. And I mean, I hope that we will become a society that goes beyond pure labels and start recognizing each of us are quite different. So even across the different public servants that have stepped forward, our experience is completely different. I spent many, many years in a statutory board doing economic issues. And then you see somebody like, for example, Sean or Ce Xiang, they have done ministry work for some time.
Yeah.
And in different types of ministry. So again, the perspectives are quite different. So I see it more as characteristics of your experience. And then whether people see it as a plus or minus is for us to bring to bear this experience to show that we can do something.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but what's the difference for you? So, you served the country
Yeah.
for the past 16 years of your life. So, many candidates that step forward for public office, right? They say, I want to serve the country because maybe they've been CEO of banking or whatnot, right?
Yeah.
But you've already been serving the country. So, what's the difference of stepping into public office?
Yeah, so the difference in my mind is that in terms of being in the government, you're doing policies, and it continues to be the case, right? Once you go, you debate things in parliament, and it's still policy-related discussions. Now, where I see the difference is that, and now being the one on the ground engaging the residents, you realize that you do bring in a different perspective too. Because now, instead of analyzing policy at a very macro level, because within ministries, we bring in and we look at all the data, we try to chart the right course and what is the best on a national level. And then coming in with the residents, everyone has a different story. And sometimes there are exceptions to be made. And that can be done only when you engage ground up. So I think that's where the difference is when we go into this path.
Yeah.
And that is a very different way of serving people here. So yeah, I think that's the main difference, that you do
Right.
reach out directly to the ground and engage back.
Right.
Yeah.
So I got a question. So
Yeah.
many people conflate like public service and politicians as the same thing.
Yeah.
So sometimes they just the whole thing, like is the government.
It's
but
like one
One system.
Yeah,
So-
one
so-
System, yeah.
how do you think we can change that perception?
How do you think we can change the perception? Well, I suppose. Whoa.
Sorry, sorry.
got a lot of
Wait,
things.
secret.
If you guys don't know, right,
I'm
there's
missing
this,
out on some
there's been
action.
this myth, right, that
Yeah, I
has been
know.
passed around.
It's been
Secretly-
5 minutes for them each to retrieve
Yeah.
a mint.
Can we just
I was
spend the
trying-
next
Guys, can
30
we just-
seconds like
like,
passing
yeah.
the mint around?
I tried so hard, guys. I tried so hard to be
offending
discreet there. And it just went.
But don't give Dan. He said his breath, smell
okay.
that nice, so
No,
you
hey,
don't want.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, because I just like heard something, then got a lot of action going on.
Yeah.
What am I
Okay.
saying that's wrong?
Sorry, okay.
I realized,
About the question. About the question.
Yeah.
Is that a perception worth changing though? Like, why do you think
Yeah.
that perception is changing?
Yeah, I think like isn't it important that people see like public service
Yes.
and the politicians are different because
like the different roles you play.
yeah, I mean
Yeah.
one is a politician and one is usually public service. You are a civil servant. You're expected to have like technical knowledge in that area.
Yes, yes.
Regardless of the party.
Yeah, exactly. Because you want like a government that works regardless like which party eventually takes over government. So I think
Yeah.
that is something to consider long term as well.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. That the public service is meant to be the strength and the stable force, right? And our public service is known globally to be extremely well run and efficient. And the party then layers on another, well, I guess, advantage or characteristic in that politicians are there then to figure out whether the feelings and the sentiments on the ground to see whether certain policies can be carried or not.
Right.
And that's the way that we complement each other. The public service goes by a certain perspective, and then the politicians come in with something else because of their experience that's very different. And I think in general, I suppose instead of looking at it as trying to help people not to conflate, but it's to help people in general and maybe the younger generation that's getting more interested in these things to better understand how the government system works.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of that. And frankly speaking, me coming into politics now, I'm learning a lot too. Yeah, even as we speak. And even though I've been working closely with some politicians in ministries, only until you get there, you realize there's so much more to learn. And I think more awareness around how the whole system works will just make us a more knowledgeable electorate. And that will ultimately serve the country well.
And I guess there's also a difference when you are an elected official. There is a mandate on you being able to make certain calls on behalf of people that you can't as a public servant.
At this point, right, I want to look at the comment section. So if you have a question, please join our Telegram community so you can be part of the discussion.
Yes.
So let me go through a few, right? The first one is Clinton Soul. Is this name familiar?
Yes.
That says Hanyan was a great boss to work for.
Wow.
Nice.
Thanks, Clinton.
Wow.
That's
did
one
not
of the
plant
best.
it.
Yeah.
Please get in touch with us after the stream.
Okay, there's also this Gable question from 今天做些什么呢?
Wow, you're on a Chinese podcast, eh?
Right. No, I said it right.
Oh, was that a name?
Could you share how you were recruited, Monica?
Ooh.
Oh, recruited. Wow, make it sound like
Recruited.
some Avengers or one. I mean, it wasn't. I suppose it wasn't super formal. I mean, being in the government, you see from the sidelines how policies are made and what the politicians do and the discussions there. So you roughly have a sense of how things happen on the other side.
Okay.
Right. And so when I was in ministry, I started working more closely with some ministers, and I had a conversation with one. Just a discussion around, is this something that I might want to do? And then that became how it transpired. And then it went across different conversations. I don't think there was one point where it was like, do you want to do this?
Right,
And
yeah,
I'm
right,
like,
right.
yes, I will.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I
not
mean,
as
that must
dramatic.
have happened at some point because here you are, right?
Yes, definitely. But that's the final, like when discussions become more serious, right? And that's where, they trigger the decision because, the elections is coming up, and that's where everyone has to start really, dotting the T's and crossing the I's. But for now, during that process, there were different conversations, and it's a decision that is not simple to make, right? I mean, we all have kids too. And so trying to figure out, right?
We are still kids.
Yeah.
He has a kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, no.
I remember you have a kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, thank you.
Yeah. I watched your podcast.
Oh,
Hello.
thank you.
Yeah.
We did not say that.
Okay, lah, we lah.
Yeah. We also did not plan that.
Or did we?
We'll talk about it after the stream.
So it's not a simple decision. So it does take time for you to warm up to the idea, to think of it as a possible path. And then when the time comes and when you have to really make the decision, then of course you have to take the plunge or take the leap.
Was there a moment for you when you felt, okay, I was ready to move into politics?
Well, to be frank, there was for me personally, there was a lot of questioning and self-doubt. Because being in the public service for a time, you feel like, okay, you gain certain skills, and I personally wasn't sure that, am I ready for this path that is quite different, quite public facing, requires some different types of like interpersonal skills or whatnot. And so
What's your one biggest fear?
One biggest fear, being
Or
here.
concern? Yeah. I mean, not on this stream specifically. Lah.
Being left out of the main situation. Yeah.
Nice.
That will be Daniel. Yeah.
Oh!
No one on this side of the table got a min, guys.
Yeah, what?
You know what? I'll have a min. Let's just share
dare
it
you.
along.
So what's your one?
rate the
What's your one
biggest-
biggest concern?
I suppose the one biggest concern is, that's a good one, because it changes day to day, right? Depending on
But
how the
today's
day
day one,
goes.
Okay, so today.
Oh no! Like I mean, once you say yes, then the process starts. Right? It doesn't just
okay.
start at hustings, right? Because
Right.
once you decide to go down the path, I mean, in my mind, if you decide to make the decision, you go for it.
Yeah.
Right? It's not nomination day, then it is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every day it changes. The biggest fear changes.
Right.
Some days it's because, oh no, I didn't get to spend enough time with my kids. Then your biggest fear might be, can I balance this and family? Some days when you realize, oh my gosh, there's so many different types of issues on the ground. Will I have enough knowledge and would I have enough power and mandate to address all these different issues? And residents have a lot of concerns. I mean, not concerns, but their personal situations where they come forward to MPS and whatnot. And you do want to help. Each and every one of them. But you probably can't help 100% of them. And that's a concern, right? That will I be able to do what I want to do and do right by the
I think you
residents?
could help everyone, but you can't help them to the extent. that you
Exactly.
hope. Yeah.
Exactly. And sometimes it's policy constraints. Sometimes it's, I don't know, there's a variety of issues why certain things can't be seen through.
I have a question from Ed Lim. She
Yeah.
asked, why did you choose to join PAP specifically?
So for me, I think it's more of how I grew up. For me, we grew up a simple family. Right? I was the only child. My mom was a teacher. My dad started his career at EDB too, actually. Yeah. So and then he was a grassroots volunteer for a long time. And our family did fine. Right? I managed to get an education, got a job I liked, and I still like what I'm doing. My parents are doing well. And so I feel like the country has progressed well. We developed very quickly and we seem to still be on the right path, I believe. And also when I was based in EDB at that point in time overseas, I was there for 3 years in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
So there to pretty much engage US-based companies,
Businesses.
getting them to invest in Singapore. And that's where you really appreciate that, yeah, we have done something right. We are a small country. There was no reason why they'll pay attention to us. Our domestic market is like, we used to joke, right? If Unilever set up a factory here to sell shampoo just to Singapore, they'll be done with a whole production run in a month.
Right.
It's because we are a small domestic market. So only if we are compelling enough and be exceptional enough would countries or companies then treat us with certain respect and the kind of attention we deserve. And I saw that when I was overseas. And I saw that we could make things work when we wanted to. So that made me feel like, okay, this party has governed well. And I do think that it's the platform that we can use if we wanted to push this country ahead for the next bound. Yeah.
You also have a question from Pepper Vibes, who's asking, what's your cause or main area of concern that you will champion in Parliament if you do?
Also, can I stop the MBTI?
Oh, there's no MBTI.
Somebody,
Are you dying to share it?
Oh, how about your guess?
You're giving eye.
Alison,
Throw it back to you
Looking
guys.
for Alison.
Alison, what do you think it is?
Yeah.
INFJ.
Wow.
Drum roll and.
ENTJ.
Whoa, you couldn't be further. You could not. You could not try harder to be wrong.
50%. Okay, but same as Min Ong, I flip between E and I.
It's ESPN. Okay.
Yeah.
The PAP asked you what your MBTI is before you join. Seems like everybody
They
else
screen
is.
first, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, what
Actually, no.
was the question again?
There's no like deep personality test or something like that.
Anagram or something.
Yeah, like damn serious, man. This is a damn serious thing.
Yeah, when they say thorough process, right? Is it?
Yeah.
So the figure out is, people are not psychopaths and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
Is it not?
I mean, no.
So the screening process like okay.
There were interviews, of course, but no MBTI.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe they.
What's like a
it was-
sample question that they ask you that you're like, fuck, like I don't know.
Well, I maybe it's for. They might ask different questions to different candidates, I suspect.
okay.
But what was one question that stumped you? I think that's what.
Not stump lah, difficult.
Oh, one question they asked was, what do you do in your free time?
Oh,
It's a trick question.
Yeah, then I was like, wow,
interesting.
trick question.
Got no
So what's your answer?
Should I be very cerebral and say
I read a lot.
What
of
is free
books
time?
and-
Reading.
What is
Who
time?
has free time? What
Define
is free time?
and time.
So what did you end up answering?
I said I enjoy listening to podcasts.
That will do it.
Yep.
That will do it. Not saying we, but
Yeah.
not saying
Yeah.
but
You have
that
the
will do it.
CEC, then you're okay already lah.
No, so when they give me an application, I'm like, no, this one can.
And things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but the funny thing is that for these platforms, the more informal the questions are, the more you are like, I thought you're supposed to ask me policy questions.
Yeah. It's meant to throw you off, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be remiss if we didn't get an answer for Pepper Vibes.
Yes, sorry, what
so
was
just
it
come
again?
back to it. It's
Yes.
what's a cause or a area of
yes,
concern that you
that's right, that's right.
if elected?
Well, so there are, at least based on my experience now, the two main issues or two main areas would be, because professionally, since I've been in the economic area for such a long time, issues or matters around jobs and the economy, which I think is extremely important, especially for the younger generation, right? Whether they can get jobs they want, whether they can get jobs that help them to progress in life. I believe hope is very important. If we don't get hope right in this country, then it's very difficult for people to govern. It's very difficult for us to progress as a nation. So jobs and economy. And the second area, because of my personal situation, I am an only child with two aging parents, 3 young children. So issues around caregiving and young families would be something that I'll be interested to talk about too.
As a new member of the party, do you agree with like sentiments on the ground that PAP maybe isn't in touch with the worries of the people? Do you see that?
The softball question is gone already.
Yeah, I was like, where are the other MBTI
swing.
questions? Can I offer another MBTI?
No, but for real though,
Yeah,
because
for real, yeah.
it's day one for you, right? And
Yeah.
people are saying the BP don't understand the worries of the people.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
now you're from outside. Do you come in knowing that statement is somewhat factual and you want to try to change that?
Well, I'll put it in a different way that I believe today in this generation, especially the younger ones that are starting to come out to vote, they are a lot more plugged in. Like, I mean, especially with social media, news travels like fire. People know exactly what's going on. There's so many different perspectives that come in not just locally, but also from other countries. And so because the electorate is a lot more informed and the realities today are really a lot more complex as well, right? It's not, given our economic progress over the years, continuing to push from a high base is going to be increasingly
Diminishing,
You know?
right?
hopefully not diminishing, but it is, as all developed countries, it starts to kind of hit a different curve. And also the global situation, we all know, right? I mean, last episode, you all had DPM Gun coming here talking about the tariffs.
He really watches.
Yeah, so it is getting more complex. And so because of all of that, it then behooves whoever that is coming forward to run, PAP or not, to listen to the different concerns and the real concerns that are happening on the ground. So while in the past, we thought things were happening a certain way, now we have to be more attuned to the new realities and then reflect that in the way that we govern and do policies.
Right.
If you have the honor of being elected into parliament, right? Is there any committee or a certain portfolio that you would like to, that you're hoping to kind of work with? Anything pet?
But MP and
Yeah.
cabinet different.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
there's committees.
Right,
You
okay,
can
okay.
help.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Anything close to you? Like given your trade background and all that.
Well, I suppose the easier answer would be something that's aligned to my background and the causes that I talked about. But that said, I do think that, and that was something I enjoyed when I was in the public service, the chance to work across different issues. And there is a lot of value when you see things from different perspectives. And so I do think that, getting something that is completely divorced from what I did in the past is not a bad idea too. And in fact, I would love to have that opportunity to do so. Yeah.
There are a lot of people that it's looking at a daring tactic for your GRC in that it's almost all new faces with Min Chan as the anchor. Is there an added stress to that? Like, what's the method behind this strategy? Or you just they just tell you to
I
go?
was gonna say the decision to have 4 is beyond me, right?
Yeah.
But having said that, well, we are new faces on the slate. That's correct, right? But the reality is that 2 people on the slate, Jackson and Hui Ying, they have been in Nee-Soon for a very long time.
Right.
They are familiar faces on the ground. Jackson grew up in Nee-Soon. Hui Ying has been volunteering in Nee-Soon since she was a student.
Right.
So collectively, they have decades of experience on the ground in Nee-Soon.
Right.
And then for Harun and myself, we have experience serving in different capacities. So service, again, is not foreign to us.
Yeah.
And so coming together as a 4-man team, new to the slate, but I don't really think it's right to say that, fair characterization to say that we are brand new faces to doing this thing.
Right.
Yeah. So and in any case, I do believe, and when I was in school playing sports in the past, right, focus on yourself, right? Focus on how you can put up the best fight.
Yeah.
And then whatever happens, right? And that's exactly what our team is going to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I ask a curious question about,
Yes.
I guess, the PAP machinery?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, obviously it's a party with a lot of history, structure, and obviously you have people with long experience, being ministers or MPs. So when you decided to take on the role to run, were there processes in place to help you get ready and also, maybe prepare you for like this period as well? And who helped you? Were there SOPs that you had to look at? Were there
SOPs.
no, or like playbooks that you have to like? Okay,
Ten years series.
you
And
cannot
because
say
they don't have now is a good time to get it started, right?
You have to buy 5 articles of white clothing.
things like that, right? Yeah.
Actually.
Oh!
No,
Whoa.
that's no, it's not SOP.
There's a shade of white there.
It is. I mean, it's both a combination of formal and informal. Of
Okay.
course, there are formal sessions where they, help inform you about what to do, what not to do, certain situations that you should be aware of, and then informal, which is there are a lot of MPs today, and well, I guess now technically no MPs. Right?
Candidates.
Yeah. Candidates. There are, retired MPs that have come before us who are very generous with their experience. So they do come forward, and then some of the informal tips is like, you might want to stock up on white polos and jeans for the 9 days because you won't get to I was gonna say shower, but you won't get to wash.
Wait,
your-
what?
I need a mince.
White will become off-white.
Yeah, so you do have informal, and of course, you talked about Nee-Soon as a state. Minister Shanmugam, I don't know whether you have interacted with him before, extremely kind and nurturing person. So he does take time to help us get up to speed and opens himself for questions that we might have. So it's been, I feel quite supported in this situation. Yeah.
He's one of my favorite guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So John said I can ask the last question. So I'm going to ask
Yes.
the last question, right?
Yes.
So who is like one foreign, leader that you admire and why? And also like a local version. So,
Give you 2 questions, actually.
Actually, 2 questions. I'm just greedy.
Yeah.
Wow. Foreign leader.
Yeah.
And why?
So 3 questions,
Yeah,
actually.
explain your workings.
Okay, it's 4. Sorry.
Wow, that is a tough question. I actually never really thought about it that well. I mean, the latest time I thought about it was it was a very narrow context, though. It's in the context of public speaking. Because in a public service, we do presentations that are very fact-based.
Yeah.
Right now in politics, it has to be emotive. You have to connect. And when someone was asking me, so which foreign leader do you think speaks really well? And my mind went to Obama. I mean, we all know that he's an excellent public speaker. and it comes off so easily. And so that was somebody that immediately came to mind for that very narrow reason.
Actually, just now when you say
Yeah.
Singapore needs hope, right? That's actually like Obama's 2008, platform.
Floppy message.
And in fact, I'm trying to remember my age right now because I was
We have it at non-fact sheet.
I was in the US twice. The first time in school and the second time because of EDB. And I was there in 2008. That was in school. And that was when he first got elected.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you could feel the emotion and regardless of putting political interest aside.
Charisma and stuff, right?
The charisma was just amazing. So that was something that I thought, wow, it would be great if someone could emulate that here. Locally, I'm going to give the very popular answer, which is Lee Kuan Yew back then. I again, public speaking, amazing. And he was just his, amazing foresight. Everything he said, it kind of lives to now. Actually, if I could add a bonus one, go King Swee as well. Because I think he really did help Lee Kuan Yew in that process, and he did many amazing things.
Right.
Yeah,
I
including
can't
the
recall a
bird
video speech from him.
Yeah.
Cool, King Swee?
Yeah.
Oh, Lee Kuan Yew got a lot. Whoever governs Singapore must have the iron.
Yeah. I mean,
It's one of those things that just stands the test of time.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, as a side to Rui Ming, before we actually end the stream and end your time here,
Yeah.
what's your message to Singaporeans?
Wow. Wow, I heard Min Ong's message just now. So
Right? Hey.
Also,
What-
I
what
do
pressure?
feel like he got Obama vibes, me Ong.
Yeah.
The way he speaks, his
yes,
orator
he does.
vibe. I do.
He
I do
does.
feel
He
that way,
does. There's a message for Singaporeans. Yeah, I would say vote for the party that you think would build the best future for Singapore.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah,
Thank you,
welcome.
Gohan Yan. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really enjoyed it. Thank you. Thanks. I can return the pillow already.
Hey, yeah. we'll keep the pillow there just in case. Oh, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
so much for joining us. All right, guys. So we'll first need to say goodbye to our viewers on TikTok and Instagram. Again, we'll be live streaming for 6 days. So tomorrow and Friday, as well as Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Join us. Tomorrow we have an interesting slate of guests. I believe we have independent candidate Jeremy
That's right.
Tan. And we also have members of the NSP party that will be competing against Min Ong, actually.
That's right.
So that'll be quite fun to have. And our guest host is Shashre. So very, very, very fun. In the meantime, what do you guys think? We had two candidates. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I feel like the stream a bit short. I feel like, but also Min Ong's a very, very busy guy. But I feel like maybe we should have for a longer stream,
For both of them, I felt like I want to go deep, but then there's also the concern of like timing.
Yeah.
I mean, even with her, obviously we talk about like the system, right? She was saying that, I see the system I've grown up in and that, I've benefited from it. And I guess on Instagram, I did this post, right? Like, why is it that so many people have to resign before they go and run, right? Because I was so curious. I was like, why is everyone resigning? And then when I made a post and I was doing my research, and a lot of it was because of the close relationship the civil service has with the government, right? And then we see this is the case here. And one of the things that I think the community kind of like gave feedback on was that, yes, for the most part, we see that it's a system that works. A lot of people benefit from it, but there's also people who don't.
Yeah.
And then that's where perhaps there's the disconnect, right? Whereby people see, maybe like civil servants becoming like politicians. Like maybe they don't really hear from the ground, right? So whether or not she gets elected, my hope is that they're also hearing all these feedback from social media. I think we are in an age whereby we are able really to hear a lot of different opinions, and that if she's saying that she wants to listen, I really hope that we can see that being materialized, in whatever way that looks like, if she gets elected.
Yeah, and I think a lot of attention is paid on the civil servants who are resigning, and we saw a whole slate of that. But I think a good point that she brought up, we kind of overlook, is that there are really three broad categories, I guess. There is the public servants, there's also those from private sector that kind of counterbalance both of them. And then we do have people at the grassroots and also the social level. So hopefully in some level there are people who are listening. They're probably listening from different sectors and they bring different strengths. But yeah, there is a bit of attention paid on I'm resigning, and then you see them on the
and then someone Ryan YouTube say, what if they resign and they never win?
I wanted to answer that.
The position's still available now.
Yeah. But with that said, I think a lot of people do draw the comparison with, okay, if they're resigning from civil service, they most likely will join PAP. But actually, that's not true. We actually see a few people from even WP who is actually former civil servants as well.
Diplomats,
So
directors of hospitals,
Yeah, like I mean, Rayming, you were asking something about that earlier on, and actually, my answer to that was also the maturity of the democracy that we have here, right? So I think
which question was it? Sorry.
talking about
it was a long
civil service. Now, but what I wanted to bring up was that this year, this election, we see the PSP fielding Stephanie Tan, who used to work in the civil service as well. I think it was Min Law. So we can see. Okay, I think people conflate the two. I think that's
that's my question.
So I think people conflate the two because of how young our democracy is, right? Because we have that one-party system, and then obviously the public sector is that. But as we continue growing, now we see more and more people having diversity of thought as well. When Stephanie Tan came forward, she was talking about how she was in Min Law, blah, 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 which is very similar to, what we hear from other civil servants or so. So it's exciting, I guess, to see that, we are maturing as Singapore. Yeah.
And so, just besides that, like, what plans do you guys have, like, on your own channels with regards to election?
Oh.
Like, especially for you,
Joe
like,
was the party that were not
Yeah,
invited
your
to, by the
political-
way.
hey,
Yeah.
I saw that. No, but no media is invited. That's what I read.
I didn't invite him. I also did put it up on my Instagram story. If you want to sign up, please sign up.
That's true.
Yeah.
I saw that story.
True.
Yeah.
But also because we are streaming at the same time. That's why you cannot make it for that day that I asked you.
True lah. No, but it's just a very chill gathering, because I think your audience is so great, guys. Also, a lot of people ask, oh, do you see TDK as competition? I'm like, absolutely not, because first of all,
I mean, but okay.
Yeah, sorry,
go on. Yeah.
No. Oh my gosh, let me explain. So John and Dan, I actually know them from way. I was an intern at a previous company when you guys were there. Yeah, so there's always been respect and admiration for the both of them. But I am trying to reach out to people who don't really care about politics. Right? There's so many people in society today. I think people who are very engaged are watching your show. They follow. They know. What the topic is about. They want to dive deep in. What I realize is that I'm also reaching out to a lot of people who actually don't really care, don't really follow, but just want like the shortcut.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
No, that was our starting point also. Like, that was just bringing up our episode 2 of the Daily Ketchup was, should you eat your own sperm? Then I don't know how come it got so serious.
Wow.
Yeah, it really escalated.
So should you eat your own sperm?
I don't know. I think I also was yes, right?
I can't remember. It was a long time ago, but
It's
I
like you
can't
do
believe
you
it.
lah, I think.
Well, that's like such a cop-out
If you
answer.
like to eat
Answer
it,
yes or no.
Eat it.
yes or no, then.
I mean, we asked you,
yes
then
or no?
you say you eat it, right?
What
That was that day. Thank you for watching, guys.
No, I was not on it. I was not.
Excuse me.
Hey, go.
No, but it's so funny because like people do, like sometimes ask me like, hey, do you know Joel? Like, do you know political pro? And like I'm like, every time we meet at a movie premiere, like he opens his arms for a huge hug. And like we really go way back. So it's so great that like we've been able to have our own platforms, I guess, to like do this, and we don't take it for granted.
Yeah, so I'm so happy that this managed to happen. Always,
Sound like a award ceremony.
Yeah.
Hey,
No, it's
Well done,
like-
well done. I'm so proud of you. Yeah.
By the way, do you all have ready
Hey,
plans?
Yeah, I wanna go. I wanna go to all of them actually, even
Yeah.
those that I'm not voting in. Just want to see because we have never been to one.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years since Singapore has seen rallies. Want to keep, and then all the memes come out from there. So I want to see it in real life. Yeah,
The vibes are immaculate though.
yeah, I can't wait for
Yeah.
the clips because like the guy that went like, I promise is a handshake.
handshake.
And, yeah.
I memorized the whole thing. I'm not going to repeat it. We'll do it when his people are.
Thumbs up, man. The guy.
Yeah.
I think for our platform, I mean, we don't do like partisan politics, so we probably like use this period to rest and recharge, and actually be citizens and watch the politics ourselves.
Right.
So I mean, no big plans.
But thanks for coming. We appreciate both
so much.
of your...
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you, Rayming, and thank you all of you for watching day 1 of the Daily Catch-Up General Election 2025 live stream. Like we mentioned, we'll be back tomorrow, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We will have other guest hosts as well as candidates from different political parties.
And Cam.
Join us. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Woo!
Here.
What a catfish photo.
all
This
all
share.
1.7 thousand of you still watching. April 24th. Boom, dum, dum, dum,
We never asked them to sing.
dum.
I would
yeah.
add it to the meme collection.